I gave up everything for this family. Then they called me selfish for leaving. I want to start with a number. $41,000. That's how much money I personally spent keeping my family afloat between the ages of 19 to 26. I didn't calculate it until last year, sitting alone in my apartment with 7 years of bank statements spread across my kitchen table, a glass of wine going warm beside me because I kept forgetting to drink it. $41,000. And not once, not a single time, did anyone say thank you. But the moment I stopped, the moment I finally chose myself, my mother called me the most selfish person she had ever raised. I want to tell you the whole story because I've been silent about it for 3 years, and silence has started to feel like agreement. My name is Renee. I'm the oldest of three. My brother Marcus is 2 years younger. My sister Jade is 5 years younger. My parents were not bad people. I want to say that clearly because this story is going to make them sound like villains, and the truth is more complicated. I mean, it's more sad than that. They were irresponsible people, chronically, catastrophically irresponsible, with money, with planning, with the basic administrative requirements of keeping a household functioning. My dad works construction, inconsistently. My mom works retail, also inconsistently. There was always a reason. A layoff, an injury, a difficult manager, a car that broke down, a series of unfortunate things that happened to be nobody's fault. Always nobody's fault. By the time I was 14, I was the one calling the electric company when the light went out. I was the one reading the eviction notice and figuring out what they meant. I was the one explaining to Marcus that we couldn't tell anyone at school because mom said it would embarrass the family. I was 14. I was a good student, not because school came easily, but because I understood from a very young age that education was the only ladder I had to access. I was going to climb. I got a partial scholarship to a state school 3 hours away. It wasn't a full ride, but it was something. I had plans. A roommate lined up, a work study position in the university library, a future that existed outside of this house that always smelled like unpaid bills and unspoken stress. 2 weeks before moving day, my mom sat me down. They were behind in the mortgage, 3 months behind. My dad's hours had been cut. If something didn't change in the next 30 days, they were going to lose the house. She looked at me across the kitchen table with this expression I can only describe as practiced helplessness. Like she already knew what she was asking and had already decided I would say yes. We just need you close for 1 year, she said. Just until we get stable. I deferred my enrollment. 1 year became 7. I got a job at an insurance company straight out of high school, entry-level data processing, nothing glamorous. But I was good at it, and I got promoted, and I got promoted again, and by 22 I was making a real salary for a person my age. And almost all of it went to that house. Mortgage contributions, grocery runs, Jay's school supplies, Marcus' car insurance, a medical bill when my dad threw his back out, a lawyer's fee when my mom got into a minor legal issue. I won't detail here. New water heater, new tires, Christmas presents. I told myself it was temporary. I told myself this was what family did. I told myself that once things stabilized, I would go back to school. I would start my own life. I would stop bleeding money into a hole that never seems to get any less so deep. Meanwhile, Marcus went to college. My parents found money for that. Not full money, but they found it, assembled it, made it work. When I pointed this out once, carefully, my mother said, Marcus needs it more than you. You're doing fine. I was doing fine because I had sacrificed everything to keep us all afloat. That sentence followed me for years. Jade graduated high school. My parents found a way to send her to a 2 year program she wanted. Marcus graduated college, moved across the country, called on holidays. My dad hours stabilized. My mom got a better job. And I looked up one day, 26 years old, and realized the house was fine. The family was fine. Everyone had gotten what they needed, built what they needed, launched into their lives. And I was still there, still in the same city, still sending money I wasn't asked for anyone out of sheer habit, still sleeping in a rental apartment 20 minutes from my childhood home because I had never had the bandwidth to think about going anywhere else. I was 26, and I felt like I was 50. I made a decision. I had been quietly taking online courses for 2 years, nights and weekends, no fanfare, not telling anyone, because I didn't want to hear the reasons why it wasn't a good time. I had enough credits to transfer into a program in another state, a real program, a degree in business administration that would take me 2 more years to finish. I had saved enough to do it. Barely, but enough. I told my parents on a Sunday dinner in October. My mother put her fork down. "You're leaving?" she said, like I had announced something criminal. "I'm going back to school," I said. "I'm 26. I need to do this." "What about us?" she said. And I want to be precise here because the word has landed in a very specific way. Not what will we do without you in a loving sentence, more like how dare you remove yourself from our equation. My dad said I was being impulsive. Marcus consulted by phone later that week, said I was being selfish and that my mom was really upset. They didn't say much. She never did. I moved out in November. My mother did not call me for 4 months. Those 2 years were the hardest and best of my life. I worked part-time and studied full-time and ate a lot of rice and beans and slept badly. Called Priya, my best friend, approximately every other day just to hear a voice that wasn't telling me I'd made a mistake. I graduated. I walked across the stage and nobody from my family was in the audience because I hadn't invited them. That sounds cold. It was a self-proactive decision I made somewhere in the first year way, quietly, without drama. I was building something and I didn't trust them not to chip away and it just by being in the room. I got a good job offer in the city where I'd studied. I took it. I built a small, clean, honest life that was entirely mine. I was happy, genuinely happy, in a way I hadn't known I was allowed to be. And then, 14 months after my graduation, my mother called. I almost didn't answer. I was in my kitchen making dinner, phone buzzing on the counter, her name on the screen. I stood there for 4 rings just breathing. I answered. She sounded different, smaller. My mother has always had a large voice. And this was not that voice. "Your father had a heart attack," she said. "He's okay, he's stable, but he can't work for at least 6 months, and well, suppose we're struggling, Renee." There it was. I waited, making sure I understood what was happening. We were wondering if you could help out for a while, just until things settle. Just until things settle. I sat down on my kitchen table. "Where's Marcus?" I said. "He's far away. He has his own. He makes more money than I do," I said. "Where's Jade?" Jade is still getting established. She can't." "Mom," I said. Something in my voice made her stop. "I love Dad. I'm glad he's okay. I will call him tomorrow." Silence. "But I'm not doing this again." I gave 7 years, $40,000, my enrollment, my 20s. I gave all of it. And when I finally left to have a life, you called me selfish and didn't speak to me for 4 months. That was... "I'm not a bank," I said. "I'm your daughter. And for most of my life, this family treated those two things like they were the same." She was crying by then, quietly, the way my mother cries when she knows she doesn't have an argument. "Call Marcus," I said. "Let him carry something for once." Here is the twist I did not see coming. Marcus called me 2 days later, furious. My mother had apparently called him asking for help, and he was not happy about it. He said, and I'm quoting, "You always made yourself the martyr of this family. Nobody asked you to pay for everything. That was your choice." I was stunned. "Marcus," I said, "do you know how much our parents contributed to your college?" "That's different. I paid loans." $11,000. I have the bank statement. I gave Mom $11,000 the year you were in school. 3 of those transactions have memo lines that says Marcus tuition. "You're welcome." A big silence. "What?" he said. "You didn't know." I said slowly. "They never told you." More silence. The quality of it shifted completely. "Rene," he said. How long were you?" 7 years, I said. $41,000. I calculated it last year. He didn't say anything for a long time. When he finally spoke, he sounded like a person who had just had a floor drop out from under him. I didn't know. I genuinely didn't know. I believe him. That's the part that keeps me up at night. Not with anger anymore, but with something more complicated. My parents had built a system where I gave and they distributed, and nobody else saw the full picture. Marcus thought I stayed home by choice. Jade was too young to understand the finances. My parents accepted my contribution quietly and apparently never mentioned them to anyone. They had made me invisible even in my own sacrifice. Marcus and I have been talking more, really talking for the first time in our adult life. He helped our parents with the immediate crisis. He set out a budget with them, something I had tried and failed to do for years. And apparently having their son do it landed differently than having their daughter do it, which is its own painful thing. I don't have the energy to unpack today. My dad is recovering. My mom and I, not there yet. Maybe we will. Maybe it will take another year. I'm not waiting for it. I'm not putting my life on hold for it. I have my own life, a real one, mine. It took me until 26 to understand that I was allowed to have it. If you're reading this and you recognize yourself in this story, the one who stays, the one who pays, the one who holds everything together while everyone else builds their life, I want to say something to you. Leaving is not abandonment. Choosing yourself is not selfish. And the people who call you selfish the moment you stop sacrificing were never actually grateful. They were just comfortable. There's a difference. And you deserve to know it.